Hello there. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We are live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. I'll take you through the top stories this hour. Confusion as leadership of the Nigerian Traders Association of Ghana urges members to resist what it describes as oppression by their Ghanaian counterparts at the Abosokai spare parts market. We'll bring details from the ground as the Ghanaian traders also accuse Nigerians of illegally operating in retail reserved only for locals. Also coming up, registration center violence continues. This afternoon, Member of Parliament for Asawase accuses security personnel of looking on as NPP sympathizer brandishes gun at a registration center at Abuabo number 1. We go live on the ground as he also says several such reports made to the police have been ignored. Also coming up in this edition, Audit Service Board defends locking out of Auditor General who was directed to proceed on a 167-day leave this month. We hear from the service as it justifies the decision to change the locks to Mr. Domilevo's office. Those are top stories this hour. We're live on your digital television. We're also on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 144. You want to join us there? We're streaming live on YouTube. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. Welcome to the details of those stories and more. Now, the leadership of the Nigerian Traders Association of Ghana is urging members to resist what it describes as oppression by their Ghanaian counterparts at the Abosokai spare parts market. President of the association, Chief Emeka Naji, says they've had enough of the intolerance from their co-traders. About 100 Nigerian shops were locked up by the Abosokai Spare Parts Association on Tuesday night following accusations that the Nigerian traders are operating illegally in retail space.
Gone around to see the shops that have been locked, quite a number of them. So just some minutes ago, I came from the 57th shop that was locked here at the Abosokai market. A lot of them are becoming impatient. They say they've reported the matter to the police. All of those affected are gathered in front of the president of the Nigerian, Spare Parts Dealers Association. They are here quite worried. Let's speak to them. Let's find out from them what the situation is, what exactly happened yesterday. Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay.
It will be good for the government of Ghana to intervene in this very issue because it is stipulated on the notice that was pasted. It wasn't signed by anybody. So I would say that it's something that was not signed by anybody is done by nobody. So until this thing has a face, our chairman said that various efforts has been made to meet the leaders of the Abosokai Traders Union so that we can have a deal, we can have an accord. But none of this confrontation has yielded anything profitable so far. So if a meeting can be arranged, if something can be said, for no matter how this case is, there must surely be a way in which it could be looked at and the grievances of everybody will be settled.
Yeah, my name is Emeka Naji. I'm the president of Nigeria Union of Traders in Ghana. Listen, I think enough is enough. We are not going to take it anymore. As a national president, I'm commanding Nigerian traders to defend themselves from any body, from any guta or any association. We are here legally. Travel or migration is not a crime. And I'm saying it from the top of my voice because there's a lot of millions of Ghanaians living in Nigeria doing businesses and nobody is challenging them. Why are they closing our shop every day? They have no right to do that. And I'm ready now to die because all die is die. I'm going to die now. Let them come and kill me. This is my shop. I have been here for over 25 years and I'm ready now to face them. Who are they? Let them come. If anybody comes here to kill me, I'm ready to die. They will not close this shop. And I'm waiting for the commander to give his order. By the end of this day, if they do not open those shops, I'm going to command on Nigerian shop to be open. And if anything happens to any Nigerian in Ghana, listen, I'm going to take it out from the executive of Guta. Listen, do you know how much I pay to government of Ghana? My container was detained. 500,000 Ghana cedis was given to me as a bill, and I have paid it. Those goods are the warehouse. house, where will I sell it? Half a million Ghana cedis. Where will I recoup my money back? If they want us to go, they can buy my goods today, I will go tomorrow. I'm tired of staying in this country, in this kind of illegality. If government continue allowing them to continue working that way, they are putting our life in danger, and we should stop. Should stop now.
Okay, so you just heard.
You just heard
him speaking.
Listen, you cannot do things.
Okay, let's listen to what's happening.
Here is Africa. Here is ECOWAS. And I want you to defend yourself now. Yes. Enough is enough. Yes. Enough is enough. Yes. We are ready to die. Yes. Let them kill us, all of us. Yes. But I tell you, our life matters in this country. If anything happens to any Nigerians, those executives of the trade union in Ghana will never go scot-free. Thank you very much.
So it's quite an emotional scene here. So this shop is owned by the president of the Nigerian spare parts dealers here at Abosokan Market. His shop was not locked, but the many people you see here, the many Nigerians you see here, their shops were actually locked yesterday in the evening.
Even if you travel outside, anywhere you meet a Nigerian or a Ghanaian, is your brother. But I don't know the reason why our brothers are doing this. When you come to this Africa, ECOWAS, from Ghana, you pass Togo, Benin, Nigeria. We are the only English-speaking country, which shows that we are brother. When there's problem in Nigeria, Ghanaians used to come there. When you go to Nigerians, a lot of Ghanaians, even my own village, I have a Ghanaian in my own village. He bought a land. He married an Igbo man, a woman, and he built a house there. The children, they school there. When you go to my hometown, you see a lot of them that are doing shoemakers. Some of them have shops. Some of them do repair works. We are living there. When I travel like this, I went there to eat banku. You understand? But I don't see the reason why our brothers are doing like this. I think these things, in fact, I'm not happy about it. It's not good because the business, one person cannot do business. You understand?
I've been telling you, what really is the problem? Do you know?
Okay, what they are saying is that we are swearing the market for them. They should go out from the market. Okay. We are swearing the market. So that's what they are saying. But I don't understand the meaning of we are swearing the market, because when I went someplace and buy market, you bought the same items, you come, you sell the same price I sell. I don't see the reason why you say I'm swearing the market.
It's business that brought us here, and we are not doing any illegal business. So the thing is spoiling. It's very, very angry. I'm very, very angry this morning. Okay. You just locked my shop for what? No anything.
Okay. Okay. So what are you going to do?
There's nothing we know. We are waiting for the head of our president. We are waiting, and we are praying to government to come in. This thing has been long. Every time close, every time open, every time close.
What do they want me to do? This COVID-19, do they want me to go and stay? If I stay now, the law will just cut up with me. So this is where I just park myself one side and doing my daily business. I give supply to Ghanaians. Some of them pay, some of them don't pay. But I keep on doing the business. Why should they come and just lock up my shop without no reason? What did I do? There's a lot of Ghanaians in Nigeria, a lot. We don't differentiate. If you have money to do business, open business anywhere in Nigeria, nobody cares. Or here, I don't know. Some group of individuals just misbehaving. Nigeria this, Nigeria that. It's unfortunate.
We are currently here at the Kaneshi police station, where the leadership of the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association and the Nigerian Spare Parts Dealers Association will be meeting the commander here. The member of parliament for the area is also here, and I've been speaking to the vice chairman of the Spare Parts Dealers Association, and he has been telling me about what necessitated the locking of the shops owned by the Nigerians.
Yeah, for some time now, members of the association started agitation concerning the foreigners issue. So they came and reported to the leaders here. So in order not to allow them to go to extreme, we convened a meeting and we took two decisions. And one is, we announced to the foreigners yesterday that today they shouldn't open their shops. 2, yesterday night, we have to go all out and close some of the shops. The reason being that we've seen that we are marginal. Nobody cares for us. No one cares for us. We've been complaining all the time, but it seems the successive governments and the current government, they've put it blind side to our story or our grievances. So we decided to take the law into our own hands and do what is suited for us. So we did that. We just did that.
But don't you think it's illegal?
Oh yeah, we are aware of it. We are aware of it.
You are aware it's illegal, but you still went ahead to...
Come again?
You are aware it's illegal, but you still went ahead to close the shop?
Yes, yes. Because if you're having a stomach problem, you know, and you don't shout loudly, no one will attend to you. Even the doctor will attend to you. Are you getting me? So we are shouting. We want them to come to our aid. If they are sleeping, we want them to wake up and come to our aid. Okay. You know, last year, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia organized a town hall meeting. I asked him the same question. What are you doing about this situation? Because we have been fighting, quarreling, going demonstration, closing our shop. What are you doing? And he referred that question to Honorable Chair Martin. And he told us, oh, 1 month you solve all the problems for you. So please exercise patience. Up to now, nothing is happening. Okay. So we are aware that it's illegal, but we don't have anything to do. We have to go all out and close it. If to the point of death, we are ready for it. You know what? Previously, about 8 years or 10 years ago, if you have 20,000 Ghana cedis, you rent a shop for 10 years as goodwill, and every month maybe you pay 20 cedis or 10 cedis as a rent. Because of these foreigners, now, if your time is due, before you realize they've taken the shop from you, because they are paying 50,000, 60,000 for 5 years, and we don't have the capacity. So if care is not taken, about 5 years out of us, they will take the market. But what government and what Ghanaians are not aware here, the market is built for we built here for ourselves, for our sweat, and we built this market for the government to take what you call duties and taxes from us. So a place like this, and they've taken a blind side to this area or Abosoakai, I think it's hurt. So if they don't know, what we are doing now, what we started yesterday night is just flaxing, just small of what we intend to do. If they fail to come to our aid and to allow the foreigners to open their shop, they'll hear from us.
Let's get on the line now. I have the Welfare Secretary for the GUTA, that's the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Benjamin Yeboah, is here to help us understand a bit more of what is happening. Mr. Yeboah, thank you for your time this afternoon. What really is the issue now, too?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Yeboah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
I mean, I thought that this issue was over and done with. What is the issue again?
Well, if you say it was over and done with, then that means that the law is working then. Anyway, good afternoon to your cherished first. Then that would mean that the law is then working. But unfortunately, that is quite unfortunate because the law has not taken its course as it should. Because for you to hear them talking like that tells you that so they are so asking that the law be applied. It's 2 years we've had some deliberations with the Trade Ministry. In fact, they said there's going to be some roadmap. But you see, immediately there's time lapse and nothing really happens, and then the ministry does not really come out to tell Ghanaians. We as an association will do our part. We've been speaking to our members and trying to tell them this is what is happening. But it seems we come to them and tell them exactly what we've been doing, and then nothing much really happens. So they are more pushing to see action.
So if I understand you up till this point, you're saying that you've had some engagements with the Trade Ministry and they have, committed to solving the problem. But when you come and you communicate that to your members, they don't seem to see anything happening. And that's why today, like one of them is saying, they're taking the law into their own hands.
You see, the point is that, like I just said, if you come in to tell them that this is it, it's like we are playing the record all over again. Because it seems they've heard it's in on and off, on and off. So mostly they prefer action. You realize that when the shops were closed in Tiptoli, just around early this year, no, late last year, you realize that the committee took up the mantle and they were working. Even though there was COVID, the whole thing was so quiet because the committee was working. So just about a month ago when these foreigners forcibly went to open the shops. So for the month that we're not hearing anything concrete, that is where the agitation started again. So when we had this meeting with the trade minister, the agitation was at its peak. And we told the ministry that this is the situation because if we say we're waiting because there's a roadmap, how soon? You tell the person that our member that there's a roadmap and the member doesn't see action. He or she thinks that you are telling him or her the same story again. So all these agitations are just to prompt the ministry.
What kind of action are you expecting the ministry to take right now that it is not?
Well, to go and start working.
To do what exactly?
Start working.
To do what exactly, sir?
To go and check those that are in the markets, the foreigners, to see if they really have the requisite documentations for them to be where they are. That is what the law at 865, which my sister, they are very much aware of, states. If they are going by the law and they are doing exactly what the law mandates, I don't think there will be any problem. But then if they're sitting there and then those that are supposed to do what they are supposed to do are not doing it, then it becomes a problem.
Is it that you want them completely out of the market or you want them to regularize documentation because they're saying that they have paid for the places they occupy?
So, do they have the proper documentation? Do they have it? Your media outfit can go and check. You have the act at 865. Please check the act and go and ask them if they go by what the act says. That is the law. We didn't do the law or we didn't promulgate the law. One
of your members who spoke to my colleague at Abosokai, who happens, I think the welfare chairman there said they are taking the law into their own hands. You can't do that.
Yes, that is what the president told us last year. That we can't take the law into our own hands because the law really favors us. And therefore we should allow the committee to work. We did exactly that. It's over a month that those shops were forcibly open. 1 month, nothing. Immediately that happens, you get agitation coming up again. Unfortunately, low. So, but then that is it.
Their leader, one of their leaders that we spoke to, is ordering the Nigerian traders to quote unquote defend themselves. He's also ordering them to, he says that he's waiting to hear, I'm not sure who he's waiting to hear from, but that they're waiting to hear from somebody, and after that they will order their men to forcibly open the shops that you have closed. He's saying that he's willing to die if that is what it takes. How do you respond to that?
You see, the point is that it's unfortunate that when we speak of foreigners, it seems that they always take up the mantle. You see, the thing is that when you even talk of ECOWAS, they have a proper leeway, unlike other foreigners who do not have it at all. And because we in the ECOWAS sub-region, we can trade among ourselves, but the rule of origin should come to play. The rule of origin meaning that the items that we manufacture within our ECOWAS sub-region is the ones that we can move around and sell in each other's country. That is not exactly what is happening. And that is strictly against even the ECOWAS leeway that we all have. It is for you to say you are defending yourself, and you are doing the wrong thing, and you want to defend yourself. Because if you were doing the right thing, we would have been holding up your documentations and say, hey, look at my documents. I'm doing the right thing. Why are you asking me to close up? You see, my sister, if you open a shop in Accra and you are an indigent and you fail to pay the requisite taxes, GRA can come to your shop and close it. That is the law. Nigeria have had their borders closed even before COVID. And
Other borders?
It was the internal affairs. See, I don't even know why we keep on hammering on this same thing on and on again. I hope and pray that the committee would take this as an indicator and go to work.
Have you heard
our brothers and their neighbors? We will not do anything untoward, but we prefer. That's how we might have to do elsewhere if we go out for the law to work. It's so simple.
What's the association's plan should they decide that they're going to break off your padlocks and open their shops anyway?
You see, that is why we have law and order. We have laws. You see, immediately laws are not put to work. Then you have lawlessness. That is the whole simple truth. So if the law works and order is maintained, then the lawlessness do not come in. I pray and hope that if the presidential committee is up to it, they should start doing something. I mean, even putting out information to the public. We can do our part as an association, but we are not an authority. So for them, it's just to come out and put out the information out to the public that, look, this is ABCD we are doing. This is our roadmap we are having. So everyone should calm down. Just like the association has said, this is the plan ahead, and we'll get everyone going by the law. Those that are going by the law, they will be allowed to work. No, but we have a lot of.
But it appears that you're holding the Nigerian, your colleague Nigerian traders to ransom for something you expect government to do. But why don't you get the government to just work rather than hold them to ransom?
It's unfortunate, like I said. Sometimes doing this might get the government to work. Quite unfortunate, though, but it might force the government to work. It's not the best, I'm telling you, my sister. It's not the best. We had Nigerian friends here. We've known some for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's not really the best. But seriously, I think as a country, we should be doing the proper thing by allowing our laws to work.
Do you appreciate...
Those that are mandated to do that, please. This is the time. Like the gentleman from Abosoka was saying, it has happened on and off and on and off. You see, when it happens that way, then the indigenous begin to think that they are being marginalized and therefore their plight is not being taken seriously.
But do you appreciate,
that they have.
Mr. Ebo, do you appreciate that the possibility that this could degenerate into something rather unfortunate? And how do you intend to deal with that?
The good news is that Ghanaians are different people. Seriously, we are really law-abiding. Elsewhere, we wouldn't have had it this way. We are very law-abiding. In the worst of our situation, you still see the good part of the Ghanaian coming out. So we know it will not degenerate into anything bad.
Well, the Nigerians are threatening that they're going to defend themselves against the people who are locking up their shops. That obviously looks like a confrontation.
I hope their leaders will speak to them, and this shouldn't be.
No, it is the leaders. It is the leaders. I just played that sound. It is the leaders who are asking them to get up and defend themselves.
I hope they will not be uttering those words. You see, when you do that, you only push even those who may be silent to also start.
They've started doing that already. We just played that the sound to you.
If you talk to them, tell them they should be advised not to. It's not the best. You see, let me tell you.
But to be advised not to, that's just not enough, don't you think?
This is just Abosoka. This is just Abosoka. And we had a lot of agitations all around. You forgot the Kumasi, they agitate, So please, they shouldn't be saying these words. They are in our country. We appreciate that, yes, they are brothers, they are sisters. We are just telling government to work. It's unfortunate they become the collateral damages in this situation. But let us all push government to do the work. It's better that way.
But among you, the leaders of the organizations or these unions, you don't think that you can? There's no possibility of engagement. I mean, all the
engaging our people.
You know, I mean, the leadership of the Nigerian Traders Union and the Ghanaian Traders Union.
Yes, they should engage their people.
Are you engaged? No, I mean, I'm talking about the leadership of both. So the Nigerian leadership, the Ghanaian leadership coming together to have a conversation. I mean, everything is broken down? I mean, there are no avenues of engagement at the moment?
No, see, everything is not broken down. But you see, the bottom line is just one thing. If we see them and sit around a round table and take some fufu and soup and all that, they will still come to the same old thing, that the law should work. And that is the most paramount thing. And that is why I keep on hammering on that. That ways that those who are in the realm of affairs, they will see the need to come out immediately and tell Ghanaians that, oh, this is why we are doing it. This is the roadmap. We've told the leaders. We are also putting it out to you. So that please relax, it will work. And then tell the foreigners to please, if we come to your country, we'll do exactly what your law mandates. So please, when we are here, know that this is the act. Go to the act, look at it, and see if you are doing the right thing. Go to the requisite institutions and start putting your things in place. I mean, if these things are happening, I don't think we are going to have these problems.
Mr. Yeboah, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this is resolved. I don't know. Mr. Yeboah,
everything will be okay, my sister.
Welfare Secretary for Ghana Union of Traders Association, Benjamin Yeboah, there speaking to me on that matter. Certainly a developing story. We'll get back to it. The minority in Parliament says it will pass a vote of censure against Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta for breaching the Fiscal Stability Act. Parliament today approved the supplementary request by the minister for 11.6 billion Ghana cedis. Concluding the debate on the mid-year review statement, Haruna Idrisu, who is a minority leader, said the minister deserves to face sanctions.
Request for approval of supplementary estimates, what I refer to as the variation in the figures, 109.9 billion. You are asking for 11.8 billion when your expenditure plan only accounts for 53 billion. We need explanations for that. But Mr. Speaker, respectively, let me refer you to paragraph 438. Unthinkable and unimaginable. Instead of doing what is needful under the Public Financial Management Act, the minister is coming for what he calls, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, from development thus far, it is clear that the fiscal rules of a deficit not exceeding 5% of GDP and a positive primary balance enshrined in the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2018, Act 982, are neither feasible nor attainable. When? Is it only for 2020 or is it only for 2020 or 2019, 2018, 2017? Were we within the regime of fiscal deficit? What he himself said in the law was that if he exceeds the fiscal deficit of 5%, he will go home, and that he should be sanctioned. So to evade the sanctions, he has come that Parliament should suspend the law. We will not suspend the law. He will undergo the sanctions spelled out in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. He defined it for himself. He defined it for himself under the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It provided room. Mr. Speaker, he himself accepted fiscal responsibility. And Mr. Speaker, we kept arguing that the best in terms of fiscal management and fiscal legislation was what the NDC under President Mahama bequeathed, the Public Financial Management Act. Now today you are coming for suspension of fiscal rules. Which fiscal rules? In any case, Parliament, do you suspend your laws? Do you suspend laws? You come and lay a paper for suspension of Fiscal Responsibility Act. If you are coming for a review of the law, come for it. You want an amendment of the law, come for it. Because the law was definite. The law was definite. The law was definite. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a government which says that one district, one factory. Then you have a Minister of Trade come and report 191. Then a Minister of Finance comes back and report 156. Who should we believe? And where? In which regions of Ghana? Tell me the 1D, 1F in the Upper East region, in any district, whether Bongo or Talensi or Nabdam. Don't concentrate them in the Greater Accra region and think that you are honoring your pledge. You said 1D, 1F, one district, one factory. Don't come and concentrate them in the Greater Accra region and go putting 1D, 1F signboards on already existing industries and factories and praise yourself. Good initiative, worthy initiative to industrialize at the rural level. You take advantage of it, but you don't come when a minister for trade tells us that it is 191, 0 in Upper West region, Upper East region 0 or 1, Northern region, you know where there is. Even in your constituency, I'm here to cite 1. Mr. Speaker, so this government, they pass a budget, pass a Fiscal Responsibility Act, and want to use it to judge even their predecessor government, including Busia and President Kufuor. You don't set your own marking scheme and reverse back to mark others who existed before you. Mr. Speaker, so when the choir master says that he has breached his own 5% rules, he is a candidate, a potential candidate for sanctions under the Fiscal Responsibility Act, and we will accordingly sanction him in accordance with the law. That is what this House should do. And Mr. Speaker, one we got is Act 982, and I read, vote of censure. Parliament may, in accordance with Article 82 of the Constitution, pass a vote of censure on the minister where the minister breaches Section 2 by more than 1 percentage point. The deficit is more than that. He is a probable candidate for censure and not a candidate for suspension of our rules. We will not suspend rules because of the convenience of the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. That is not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, COVID. You are not the only country hit by COVID. As I said, some countries will do according to their might, others will do according to what they can do. But, Mr. Speaker, this government is audacious. It has buried its head so deep in the sand that it has failed to recognize the decoder music that it set itself loudly when they took office. Reference to IMF, World Bank, Fitch, and Moody, and others in terms of the rating. But, Mr. Speaker, our concern is whether the numbers and figures they are sharing with the Parliament of Ghana is the same numbers and figures they are sharing with the IMF. Mr. Speaker, they have raised $500 million with Standard Chartered Bank. They never came to Parliament for its approval. And should we add that, it's here, the Republic of Ghana Global Medium Term Note Program, $500 million. And then they raised $500 million a day before they issued the bond, which tenor is different than the bond tenor. So, Mr. Speaker, when we say we are concerned about the numbers, we are legitimately concerned. When he says they have paid electricity debt, they have paid the legacy debt, thanks to President Mahama and the NDC, ESLA is what has generated the money for use to service and to deal with those outstanding debt within the energy sector. It was the intention of John Mahama then as president to use it to give a better and a good balance sheet for the energy sector companies. So when you post that you have paid $2.1 billion, where is it coming from? Credit the NDC. And sometimes, not every day, that you don't see any merit in it. And Mr. Speaker, may I refer you to page 109 of the budget. And the projections alone, 2.8 billion ESLA, 2.7 billion Ghana cedis. Thanks to the thoughtfulness of the NDC and its leader, you are able to share some of those issues. I hear the Vice President and the Minister again saying that this government ended doomsday. There was no doomsday when you took office.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, the Ken Ofori-Atta, the Finance Minister, also says he spent the extra sums on the COVID-19 fight. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is joining me right now on phone. Joseph, has there been, before I even get to the response, I just want to understand this vote of censure. The minority leader goes on to explain a bit more, but help my ignorance. Is it because he's said to have gone beyond the deficit limits?
And so last year, Parliament passed what is called the Fiscal Stability Act, and that act was very specific that when it comes to the nation's budget deficit in terms of monies that we are borrowing to run the economy, vis-a-vis the size of the economy, it shouldn't go anything beyond 1%. Well, it shouldn't go anything beyond 5%. So this is something that Parliament passed sometime last year, and it's since become law. Now, the argument that the minority leader, Haruna Idrisi, is making is that we've seen a situation where government borrowing has actually gone beyond that particular limit. And from the indication, the reason why this particular legislation was introduced was to create a situation where government will be responsible in its spending. Now, the finance minister's explanation is that because of COVID-19 related expenditures, which he sees as a force majeure, the government didn't have any choice than to want to borrow a lot more in order to fund various COVID-19 related activities and also to shore up the economy. And so the minority leader is making an argument that they still don't think that that provides the right justification in terms of the decision to go ahead and spend beyond the said 5% amount, which is why he says, they on the minority side, the sanctions have been spelled out in the Fiscal Stability Act that any finance minister who spends beyond that particular limit, a vote of censure can be brought against him, which will then lead to his removal if more than 2/3 of MPs vote in favor of that. And so what we're seeing is Haruna Idrisi, the minority leader, serving notice that they would go ahead with this, but as to whether it will succeed, it will require the vote of more than 2/3 of all members of parliament. But those on the majority side profoundly disagree with the move, as has been announced by the minority leader.
Right, Joseph. You rightly indicated that Ken Ofori-Atta himself has been responding to that.
He has, explaining that these are money that he spent to deal with COVID-19 related issues. And so there was a force majeure situation, and he couldn't have done anything except to go ahead and spend beyond the maximum limit.
Well, we can hear from the finance minister.
That have been avoided in any way. Because
I beg your pardon?
The breach of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, have been avoided in any way.
I mean, if you read the act, it says what? Catastrophe, force majeure. Are you suggesting I could have prevented the pandemic? I'm just asking.
Do you think you could have cut other expenditures?
I could have avoided I could have avoided oil prices. And then what would you, when you look at the CARE and the CAP program, what did we spend the money on? The lockdown period, the average Ghanaian not being able to access food, lifeline, electricity. I mean, the issue of governance is to make sure that you keep your people alive. It's very easy to say, cut it out until you see people on the street. This is a government that cares and will not compromise the lives of our people in any way. Thank you.
Call that one of the rare moments where you get to get more from the finance minister. Joseph, let me wrap up with you on what else happened in Parliament today.
A number of other things. As you can hear the bell ringing in the background. I don't know if you can hear me.
I do.
But the MPs are being recalled in because they need to get some work done on the birth and death registration bill 2020, which is why they are being asked to come in. So the House earlier approved the supplementary estimate as had been requested for, and they approved a loan agreement for the Kumasi Sechimentia Road, which is something in the region of $50 million. That had the minority raised concerns that before they left power in 2016, that road was supposed to cost about 26 million Ghana cedis, which they think is a ballooning of the cost. But additionally, earlier in the day, the Minister for Special Development Initiative, Howard Kumsin, was expected in the House to respond to questions. She didn't show up. The minority MPs raised concerns about why there was no explanation over her inability to show up. Those have been some of the developments in Parliament.
Joseph, thank you. I reckon that you have to go back to the floor, so we'll let you go right now. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. Take a very quick break. When we return, we have more, including registration center violence that continues. This afternoon, we'll take you to Asawase, where the Member of Parliament is accusing security personnel of looking on as an NPP sympathizer brandished a gun at the registration center in Abuabo, number 1. We'll go there live, as he also says several such reports made to the police have been ignored. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Lack of potable water is top among a number of issues that residents of Damangu in the Savannah region expect to put before their duty bearers as they look forward to the Joy Ballot Box program. Also, persons with disability have key concerns that they hope to put before the political actors seeking their votes in the December 7 polls. MFA Etiamwa Eli has more in this report.
Students of the Damangu Senior High School are the most affected in the water problem at Damangu. They spend most of the Damangu Senior High School are the most affected in the water problem at Damangu. They spend most part of their school hours combing town to draw water from reservoirs and wells.
My name is Suleiman Abbas, and in fact, the water problem in Damangu here is very serious. It's very serious. When it gets to Hamatan like this, we normally suffer. In fact, this is the kind I'm going to use to bath. Instead of using a bucket, or because there's not enough water, this is the kind I'll use this evening, and I'll use this one tomorrow. Then the one I'll drink there, unless I use my own money to buy.
Ghana school students are there learning whilst we are searching for water, and we are all going to write the same exams. That's why you always be failing. They will say, Damangu Senior High Schools are failing their exams. It's just because of all this.
To get water to bath is very difficult. Unless we move from long distance before you get water to bath and go to class.
It's always difficult for us to get water in our school. When it's time for us to also go to school and learn, we don't get a chance to go and learn. We always find it difficult to go and learn because of water.
For some residents, water tank operators are their means to access water, be it drinkable or not. I followed up with 2 of such truck operators to the source of water. It was the Agri Dam. My checks reveal it is also the same place where grazing cattle drink from. Even the operators of these trucks are not excited about drawing water from this dam for residents.
This water is full of sand. Sometimes the Fulani people, they bring animals to come and spoil the water. If they came like this, we can stand and they'll just drive their cattle inside the water. It will spoil because it's not deep. We are selling for those who are cooking food in their houses, and sometimes those who are building.
But you know that alone can be risky for the health of the people you sell the water to.
That one there, we know it.
So why don't you tell them so that they would decide?
Even when you say it, they won't mind you. Who is going to stand and they fight for that? There's nobody. Now, if a Fulani man came here, you beat him up and he was wounded, they will say they will go and call police to come arrest you. For what? No, they are spoiling the water that the whole town is using.
The water at the moment has color. It looks green in color. It has odor. Water is supposed to be colorless and odorless. But the Agric Dam at Domongo, which is the major source of water for the residents here, has color and has stench. The people are left with no other option but to drink from this water source. If there's anything residents here at Domongo are asking for, is portable water provision. Perhaps that is likely to inform their choice of vote in this election year. For persons with disability, the arrival of the Joy ballot box train to Damongo is a much anticipated platform to voice all their concerns. I met with a group of them and they were livid about some of the issues that will inform their votes this year.
The schools, invariably, they are not disabled friendly. Most of the children, especially those with clutches and whatnots, they suffer it. So we're looking at those things.
We say that government, we are bringing government closer to the people. And now we are taking the departments very far away. For instance, someone from Bole Bamboy, a nurse from Bole Bamboy, a nurse from Solatona, Kalba, that wants to assess, maybe for a promotion, that wants to assess the regional health directorate, how to travel, come and bypass the regional capital, travel all the way to somewhere like Salaga or Daboya. You see that it means we are not bringing the government closer, but we have said and mentioned and have spoken and cried out, and no one is listening to us. And so I think that it is a very good thing when you bring the ballot box, the JoyNews ballot boxes out. I believe that you get to know a lot of issues that are bothering us. And of course,
the Joy ballot box is a Star Ghana sponsored initiative put together by JoyNews to enable electorates to engage with their political actors on their voting decisions ahead of the December 7 general election. Watch out for the train in your community soon. Emefa Ewenam Atiamwa Eli for JoyNews, Damongo.
Emefa filed that report. Now, I'm being joined on Zoom by Member of Parliament for Damongo and ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Adam Mutwakilo. Mr. Mutwakilo, good afternoon. It's good to have you.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So
how are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. What is your initial response? I'm sure that you've seen the story.
Yeah, I was born in Damongo. I grew up in Damongo. Okay. I've been the district chief executive in Damongo, became member of Parliament now. Damongo was a town that has a town water system. There was a Ghana Water Company operating in Damongo, or community water. So you will see the overhead tanks in the town. They operated during the President Rawlings era until 2002, when the dam, where you just showed up, EA Dam, needed to be deserted. And that was the beginning of the end of water for the people of Damongo constituency. Certain initiatives were taken to ensure that we have a number of mechanized boreholes within the township. There were about 13 mechanized boreholes. As a DCE, I made sure that in 2009, when I became DCE, I made sure that the town water board was working effectively. And as a student of Damongo Secondary School, I realized there is a need to give the necessary support to ensure that the students do not travel far in search of water. So I gave financial support to the PTA, and they were able to buy a water tanker, and to ensure that polytanks were mounted at the various houses to ensure that they get water. During the classes time, they should be filled with water, and when the students close, they will have enough water. I think that water tanker was bought. I think as a result of lack of regular maintenance, it broke down. And yes.
So yes, please wrap up on that for me, so I can come in.
We decided to see how we could drill boreholes. I know the landscape in Damongo, the water table is very low, and because of that, we couldn't hit water. And the next move was to get water for the people of Damongo. President Mahama made it clear that after the road construction, water will flow. On 20th of December 2016, a loan agreement came to Ghana, to Parliament, between the government of Ghana and EcoBank for a loan facility of $35 million dam water project. But it didn't go through Parliament because the transition team, the incoming government transition team members, requested that President Nana Akufo-Addo will come and source money to construct water for Damango. And I thought governance should be continuous. If President Nana Akufo-Addo had continued from where President Mahama left off, I don't think today we should be complaining that Damango do not have a water system. But apart from that, in 2018, when President Nana Akufo-Addo visited Damango, he made mention of giving Damango water. But in the meantime, he will ensure that they drill 10 mechanized boreholes in Damango to augment the existing mechanized boreholes. As we speak today, we cannot point finger to one.
Okay.
In that it has been happening, that it has taken place. No.
Ms. Amtokilo, if I follow what you're saying clearly, and if I understand the point you're making, you're essentially blaming President Akufo-Addo for lack of water in Damango?
Once he refused to continue with the sourcing of funding or allowing Parliament to approve the funding that President Mahama had sourced, on the 20th of December 2016, and I have the other paper with me here. If you want, I could read it for you to see, and everybody will know that truly that came to Parliament. It was order paper. This was an order paper from Parliament, and it was by the Minister of Finance, that was B. The following papers to be presented. B, by the Finance Minister. Loan agreement between the government of the Republic of Ghana and EcoBank Ghana Limited for an amount of $35 million to finance the construction and rehabilitation of the Damango town water system in the northern region. By then, we're part of the northern region. This is the order paper, but it wasn't approved in Parliament because the transition team said President Nana Akufo-Addo, when he takes over, he will look at it. So if 3.5 years down the lane, we still do not have water, definitely we blame President Nana Akufo-Addo.
You are the member of Parliament for the area. One of the things that they've said that yours is to enact laws and be in Parliament, but we also know that in our context, in our Ghanaian context, these are some of the things that you do. And you've indicated the efforts you put in place earlier. Have you followed up? At least one of the things that you do in Parliament also is to lobby.
Let me also say that when the Tamale, the Damango Town Water Project, finally the loan facility came to Parliament in August. It wasn't a standalone project for Damango. It was the Tamale Water Extension Project. And under it, Damango was captured. And to be specific, if you take that loan agreement, Section 3 indicated that Damango will be part of that project. As a member of Parliament, I have been in constant touch and visited the managing director of Ghana Water Company to ensure that this facility goes through. I have visited the Minister for Water and Sanitation to ensure that they bring this document to Parliament for it to be approved. And actually, when in August it was laid in Parliament, I think I did the lobbying that it required. And within 1 week, it was approved somewhere 3rd August 2019. It's almost 1 year since this loan facility was approved. Also, I had the opportunity again, met the minister and told him when this project will start. And he indicated I should relax. They are those who are supposed to ensure that the project is executed. As an MP, I'm supposed to be in Parliament. And I said, no, Apart from passing laws, my responsibility to make sure that what my people need.
So how did they explain? How did they explain why, after the approval, or a year after the approval, the project has still not started?
That was early. That they were still doing some few issues with it to get it done after the approval. But did indicate that as a member of parliament, my responsibility is to pass law. But I told him that no, that is not the case.
So as it stands now, the project has not started?
Yes, I have been told. And I heard that the president will be cutting the salt today. But it is still not clear.
I see.
And I wasn't able to go there for many reasons. One, we are in COVID, and I expected that if you're going to do something in my constituency, the number of people who will be there, they will be invited. I wasn't invited. Two, in Aboyagbon, normally we have a local radio station every Sunday. The radio station interact with us in respect to the constituency.
Okay.
The parliamentary candidate for the NPP indicated that it was his effort that President Nana Akufo-Addo is coming to Damango. That indicates that in the original program, President Nana Akufo-Addo will not be coming to Damango.
I see.
And because of that, I was not clear of how the program was. But you see,
but you have heard this afternoon that you've heard this afternoon that the president is going to cut salt for the water project to begin.
At where?
In Damango. Is that what you said?
Let me tell you.
Okay. If you will make it a bit brief for me because of my time.
Yeah, I'm just shorting it at 2 points. Let me tell you, Damango people know how we cut salt. Under the road project, I was very effectively involved. The yard was set up, equipment brought, work started before cutting of salt. And by the cutting of salt, the youth had been engaged. I want to ask, where is the yard? Where are the equipment? And you are going to cut salt. Then you see the dump you saw. It wasn't like that. In 2017, the parliamentary candidate of the NPP, Honorable Abu Jinapo, announced to the Damango people that bulldozers were going to desalt the dam and that they should relax. We are in 2020. We are still waiting for the bulldozers to go and desalt the dam.
I see. The people are putting this on top of their priority when it comes to voting. How does that come across to you?
Yes, I've almost told them there were 3 priorities in Damango. First, electricity. President Rollins provided it. Second major problem was roads. And under President Mama, it was provided. Water, we have made it clear to them that, and President Mama had said it, once he's in government, Damango Water Project will be a stand-alone project. A stand-alone project, so that it will be executed in time and fast-track to make sure the people of Damango have potable water to drink.
Right. Let me leave you with your final comments. If people in Damango are watching you right now, what do you want to tell them?
I want to assure them that you gave me the name Yenaura by the Busunura, which means whatever I say, I deliver. Busunura was the paramount chief, may his soul rest in peace. And what I cannot defend, I will not say it and I won't do it. I want to assure you, next year, when President Mahama comes to power, Galus is the member of parliament. I can assure you, within 6 months, you will see a change in face in respect of water for the Damango constituency. I work as much as possible to bring boreholes. If you go to the communities and others around it, I've done my best. I'm still coming to account to you what I have done in respect to projects, apart from my parliamentary duties. And my research assistant has been updating you with enough. Yesterday, he posted one.
Wrap up for me, Honorable.
Water problem will no more be once President Mama becomes the president and Galus is the member of parliament. I'm most grateful to you.
Okay. Member of Parliament for Damongo, Adam Mutokilu there. Thank you very much, sir, for your time, and I wish you all the best in your political endeavors. So, essentially, he's telling those of you who are in his constituency in Damongo that he will account to you. He says, bring his party in power, and he'll fix the water problem. If you're in Damongo and you have access to Facebook or Twitter, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a message right here on the polls.
Live channel. Live channel.
So those are videos from the registration exercise at Abuabo number 1, a suburb of Asawase in the Ashanti region on Monday. It's not clear what sparked the violence, but reports suggest an NPP agent, Yushao Yakubu, pulled a pistol on Member of Parliament for Asawase Muntaka Mubarak's bodyguard, threatening to shoot if the security personnel do not vacate the center. Mr. Muntaka says that he and his team have recorded many of such violent acts in the ongoing registration exercise in his constituency. According to him, although they have reported to the police, the matter has received no attention. Erastus Asaridonko is joining me via Zoom with an update on that situation. Hi, Erastus. Hopefully you hear me, Erastus. Okay, Erastus is just frozen up on us, but we'll try and raise him back on the line. We're trying to get an update on the situation in Abuabo number 1, where there was violence today, earlier at a registration center. Member of Parliament for the area, NDC MP, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak has been complaining about what he says are inaction of the police, despite several reports they've made to them. Erastus joins me on phone. Hi, Erastus.
Hey, Gifty.
Hi. So, has there been any arrest, any investigation? What has the police said anything about this incident?
Well, the regional police command says the policeman, that's the bodyguard of Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, has formally reported the issue to them. They've received his report. They are investigating, and that's all they have said. Okay. No action has been taken. The gentleman in question has been described as a national security personnel by the constituency chairman, one Mohammed Moro, for Aswase. That's the NPP constituency chairman. He says the guy is a national security personnel, and he's not part of his NPP entourage who are touring the various constituency rounds.
Do we know the whereabouts of this man right now?
Well, I've heard information from some people that he's around. He's within the constituency. He's been doing his normal rounds. Nothing has really happened to him. And they described that he was doing his official duties. And that's what the constituency chairman said. But Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak thinks that the guy is lucky and that they did not want to stir any controversy because they feel it will go against them, because they want all their party members to register within the constituency. And that is why they allowed him to go. But he thinks going forward, the security agencies need to take this seriously and prosecute the number of cases that they've reported to them concerning the violence in the ongoing voter registration exercise in Aswase.
In the videos that we're seeing, this gentleman looks like he's confronting violently the military personnel there and a police officer. Is it clear what actually happened to trigger this?
Yes, the bodyguard of Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak came there with Alhaji Muntaka himself. And Alhaji Muntaka indicates that the place is manned by fire service personnel, 2 fire service personnel who are not able to contain that the kind of skirmishes that goes on in there. So they, on their rounds, decided to visit the place with a bodyguard. When they were there for about 30 minutes, he decided to go to the office and ask his bodyguard to stay there until he comes. And that whilst he was gone, this group, led by Yushao Yakubu, alias Boyo, came in and demanded that the policeman leave the registration scene. And he said that he does not take orders from him. He takes orders from his MP. The MP says he should stay there. And so until his MP comes back, he's not moving an inch. And that is where he pulled the pistol and threatened that he will shoot if he doesn't move from the scene. And you see the military men trying to wrestle and take the pistol away from him.
I see. Did this disrupt a registration exercise?
Yes, it disrupted the registration exercise for close to 1 hour until the MP himself came to the scene and took the bodyguard away, and normalcy was restored.
I see. Erastus, thank you very much. Is there anything else you need to add for our audience? Otherwise, that's it for me.
Well, I must say that this particular registration center and other perceived strongholds of the NDC within the Aswanse constituency are a target of some people who believe that they must suppress the numbers that are going into the registration books to favor some political parties. So verbal exchanges, even in our presence today, was evident over there. And I think that we do not have to leave those centers in the care of fire service personnel who clearly cannot handle the situations in there.
Thank you, Erastus, for that update. Erastus Asarodonko there with what happened today in Asawase. Now, the National Peace Council says it is not getting the desired cooperation from the political parties in the attainment of electoral peace. It says it cannot force peace on the parties if they continue to disregard agreed arrangements to handle challenges during the electoral processes. At a 2-day training workshop on Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019 in Sunyani, the Bono Regional Executive Secretary of the Peace Council, Swala Abdullah Kwanda, says as a non-prosecutorial body, the best they can continue to do is to engage political parties and other stakeholders in their advocacy drive to hold on to the peace that the country has been enjoying.
The training workshop on Vigilantism and Related Offences Act had political parties, religious groups, security services and other stakeholders taking part to create awareness through advocacy campaigns on Act 999. It was also to campaign for the adherence of the roadmap and the code of conduct, which are the outcomes of almost a year's dialogue between the Peace Council and the political parties. In her address, Sunyani Municipal Chief Executive Justina Owusu Banahini said acts of vigilantism are criminal and political parties can incorporate certain socio-cultural values in their manifestos to nurture their followers.
We can suggest to both political parties and other institutions with some form of ideas in summary form to be part of every political party's manifesto so that we will live with it. You start with it and you live with it as you grow, as they nurture in that political party. You have the do's and don'ts. Then again, as part of our syllabus in schools, as comprehension passages here and there, those ideas, our cultural, our socio-cultural values can be imprinted in there.
The Bono Regional Executive Secretary of the Peace Council, Swala Abdullah Kwanda, said the total cooperation of political parties on election measures and the code of conduct agreed would lead to the attainment of peace.
Peace building or peace work is a collective responsibility. You cannot force peace on people. So if people decide not to cooperate with you, it is very difficult for you to be able to facilitate the peace that you do. If you look at the underlying factors of all this violence in this election registration period, people busing people from different constituency to a constituency that they do not belong to. And they know it's against the law. But which people are doing it? It's the political parties. They are behind it. So are they cooperating? There is an arrangement or mechanism that if somebody is going to register and you do not agree you suspect the person is not qualified to register. There is a process that you go through. You don't force the person out of the queue. The political parties have decided to disregard this mechanism. These are all things that we expect the political parties to know and adhere to. So if they don't do that, the best we can do is to continue talking, continue discussing with them, continue appealing to their conscience, continue appealing to their emotions, for them to appreciate the fact that what they are doing is not in the interest of peace. The political parties, yes, we are not saying that they are giving us problems, but they are not cooperating as we want them to cooperate.
Some political party members spoke to Joy News.
The focus is supposed to be what the government can do better and what the security agencies will be allowed. If National Peace Council must be very vociferous on this particular issue of political violence, they must speak the truth to power.
There is no fairness when it comes to application of punishing those who are arrested and you allow them to go free. It will be a recipe for disaster. It will also allow others to think that, I can act violent.
Indeed, more needs to be done to attain peace before, during, and after the December general elections, with recent happenings in Banda fresh in our minds. For Joy News, Precious Semevo, Sunyani.
The Savannah Regional Police Command has today arrested 6 more suspects in connection with the killing of a 90-year-old woman, Ekia Dente, at Kafaba in the East Gonja municipality. This follows an earlier arrest of the chief of the area yesterday. This arrest brings the number of suspects in police custody to 7. Correspondent Isaac Nonya reports the 6 suspects have been detained. Meanwhile, the chief of Kafaba, Zakaria Yahaya, is set to gain his freedom. Has yet to gain his freedom from the Savannah Regional Police Command, even though he was seen, he was brought in this morning. We'll get more from our correspondent, Isaac Nonya. Hello, Isaac. Tell us the latest.
The chief of Kafaba, Zakaria Yahaya, has finally been granted bail this afternoon.
Okay.
This occurred movement after the other 6 were brought in. After interrogation, the police thought it wise to allow him to go because it was based on his interrogation yesterday that made it possible for them to arrest the other 6 suspects.
Okay. So, was he charged? Did the police say anything about his charge?
The police is quiet about the bail condition.
Okay.
But the commander promised to talk to us when the president finally moves away from the region. The other thing we wanted to find out from the suspect, the chief, is as to whether his coming has initiated him or his coming has rather committed him. All that he said was that what they called him to do here has been achieved, so he was going home.
These 6 other people who were arrested today, do you have any information about who they are?
Yes, these were the people that the chief mentioned their name the very day he was arrested. He said there were some NPP supporters in the community who once came to him and to give them the mandate to go and bring the traditional priestess to come and help them identify the individuals who burned their pavilion overnight. But he didn't give it a chance. It was like initially he was giving them cover. And when the police had intelligence that this was the case, he was invited and then made to be known that if the people are not brought in, he will continue to be in their custody. So he willingly gave out their names yesterday, and the people also availed themselves at the Salga police station, and they were arrested and handed over to the Savannah Regional Police Command.
Again, these 6 people, have they been identified as people who were present during the lynching of this woman?
Now, Gifty, the people, there are more than 52 per our investigation, but the leaders are these people who handed over themselves. They were not necessarily there, not all of them were there at the lynching, but they were the leaders who went and brought the said lady to Kafaba, leading to the accusation and torture and death of Ekia Dente.
I see. Well, at the moment, what is the situation like in the area? Do you have any leads on that?
Yes, the community, based on the fleeing of the majority of the youth, is very quiet now. You see, little farming activities But we are also told that the family are preparing to address the press on Saturday to make their position known in the matter.
Okay. Thank you very much, Isaac. We'll follow up as and when there are more details. Isaac Nonya is our correspondent there who is bringing us information. 6 more people have been arrested in connection with the death or lynching to death of Ekuadente, and the chief, who was earlier first arrested, has been granted bail. A chairman of the Audit Service Board, Professor Jiajiman, has justified the decision to change the locks to Auditor General Daniel Domilevo's office. He says it was meant to secure the office. Mr. Domilevo, who is on a 167-day leave, was shocked to find that new locks had been installed at his office, denying him access. Professor Jiajiman insists Mr. Domilevo will be allowed into his office, provided he informs the acting Auditor General.
He came back, collected some documents, including a letterhead, to write back to the head of state, the president. And then also, the acting Auditor General informed us that he wasn't happy about the security of that office. And therefore, he was suggesting that we secure the place. The board authorized him to buy new locks and secure the place. When he has done that, he gave the keys to the secretary of Mr. Domilevo. My information is that the secretary decided that she will not take the keys. The keys were again given to the Deputy Auditor General in charge of Finance and Administration. I was informed by the acting Auditor General that he says she will not take them. So we kept the keys, he kept the keys with the cashier. And as we speak now, the keys are with the cashier. Yesterday, the acting Auditor General informed me that Mr. Domilevo came to the office, went straight to his office and couldn't get in. So he came back to inform him that he has not been given access to the place. He explained to him that the board asked him to secure the place and that the keys are with the cashier. So he could go for it. My information from the acting Auditor General, he explained to him that the board asked him to secure the place and that the keys are with the cashier. So he could go for it. My information from the acting Auditor General is that he said he was very furious that we have locked the place and given the keys to the cashier, so he wasn't going for it. And then he went straight to Joy FM and then the other FM stations and reported. So that's how the case was. His office is there, the keys are available with the cashier, and if he wants to go there, he must get to the acting Auditor General and he will direct him as to where he can get the keys to get to his office. Nobody has locked him out of the office.
But Prof, you have occupied that office before. If you go on leave, must the locks in your office be changed?
But if I go on leave and there is a problem about the office, the locks, the board has every right to make sure that the place is secure.
What is the problem about the locks?
The problem about the locks was that Mr. Domilevo came there a day after he has left and went there, collected letterhead and also without telling the acting Auditor General that he was there.
His office.
Joseph Akable in that interview there. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has struck out a request to restrain Johnson Akuamwa Asiedu from acting as Auditor General. This was after the court had granted Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame's request to have Mr. Asiedu and Auditor General Daniel Domilevo struck out as defendants in the case. This is in the case filed by CDD Fellow in Public Law and Justice Professor Stephen Asari, challenging the presidential directive that Mr. Domilevo proceeds on leave.
The Office of the President on July 4 extended the leave period of Auditor General Daniel Domelevo from 123 days to 167 days effective July 1, 2020. This came in the wake of concerns raised by the Auditor General over the directive to take his accumulated leave. Professor Asare is one of the key legal analysts who called out the move by the presidency, describing it as unconstitutional. He argues that the Office of the Auditor General is a very important position that should not be toyed with. He maintains annual leave is by nature voluntary. He also explains that this is a right earned by an employee that should not be available to the appointing authority to be deployed as a sanction to exercise disciplinary control. When the case was called Wednesday morning, justices of the Apex Court raised questions as to why Mr. Siedu and the Auditor General have been named as defendants in the case. They pointed out that the case is challenging the President's directive and not any action undertaken by the two. The court therefore struck out the two as defendants in the case. Lawyer for Professor Asare then withdrew his request for an injunction as the panel once again pointed out that the injunction should have been sought against the Attorney General who is defending the President's action and not the victim of the action or the beneficiary. Mr. Dami has hinted of filing another motion to have the case dismissed on the basis that documents filed by Professor Asare need verification.
Joseph Akable with that report. Some news just coming in on the Twitter handle of police. It says that Ghana police is investigating a video on social media in which a person in an apparent civil dress is seen brandishing an object. They say that these officers have reported, they are known officers, and have reported the incidents to their commanders. Now, mining giant AngloGold Ashanti is partnering with Tumfose to the second charity foundation to introduce basic school children to distance learning via radio. Over 10,000 targeted Class 6 pupils and junior high students will be assisted to improve standards in 5 districts of the Adanse and Amansia traditional areas. The initiative is meant to reduce the impact of COVID-19 on teaching and learning, especially in rural communities. Ohemi Teria reports.
Average BEC performance of schools in participating districts stand at 80%. Partners, including education directories in the respective districts, want to take it to 90% in the next edition. AngloGold Ashanti launched a social management plan last year to leverage social responsibility aimed at diversifying Obuasi's economy. A key component of the scheme is improvement of education in the mine's catchment area. Beneficiaries of the partnership program will also receive at least 3 supplementary English and maths reading and workbooks for free. The mining company has already released 150,000 Ghana cedis for the project, in addition to the provision of motorbikes to education circuit supervisors. Emmanuel Bedu is Senior Sustainability Manager of AngloGold Ashanti.
With COVID coming in and given the fact that we cannot do anything significant on the education intervention, we look for an opportunity to partner with the Otumfuo Charity Foundation to print and distribute a number of supplementary readers and workbooks, and with a complementary radio education to ensure that children read the books and then comprehend it. And this was actually a stopgap measure or an intervention they rolled out to ensure that whilst because of COVID children are home and the third term is somehow missing on the education calendar for this academic year, the children will not suffer much. So we saw that as a very useful intervention, and obviously we believe that if children have a good foundation education, then they can excel in the educational ladder. That will give them a very strong basis for the fact that AGA is back. Obuasi should significantly visibly see the benefit of the mine, and we believe we can never do this without education.
Yes, Dr. Thomas Ejakupuku is the Executive Director of the Tumfo Charity Foundation. He told the launching ceremony in Obuasi the foundation will see to the strict implementation of the program for success.
The books all printed will be distributed to the children, and we are ensuring that the beneficiaries, who are the children, receive those books. We do this by going from one village to another, one town to another. We ensure the COVID protocols, bring the children together and hand these books over to them. Indeed, we don't give the books to people to keep them anywhere. We hand them to the beneficiaries. The idea of giving the books is to ensure continuity. Because for children, as long as they stay at home, they tend to forget. And education will not wait for your aid. And therefore, we are making sure that we look for all things possible to ensure that education is continual.
Meanwhile, the Obuasi Municipal Director of Education, Letitia Obin, has commended Anglo-Gold Ashanti for the initiative, adding it will go a long way to improve education standards. From Obuasi, for Joy News, Ohimintiwia reporting.
Now, take a quick break here.